Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a Circle of Blood Druid build guide in Baldur's Gate 3. Now this is a mod that was made by Havsglimt here, and the Circle of Blood is really interesting because you get a bunch of different effects like the Rite of the Blood Moon here, which you can empower your teammates with a blood-like frenzy so it can rage them out. You get the Blood Boon here to heal yourself. You can create blood elementals. Look at all this. There's so many unique abilities on this, so we'll be breaking down all of this in this video. So we'll first start off with the Druid. For cantrips, I like to take Shillelagh and the Thorn Whip. You can use this on a torch. It'll be the most damage you can get early on in the game. And for our stat spread, I think it works best with a high dexterity for 16 wisdom, and 14 constitution. You can swap these two stats around if you prefer higher health, and 10 intelligence and 10 charisma there, 8 strength. For skill proficiencies, we'll just go with the following there. Now, level 2 is when we get to choose a subclass with the Circle of Blood. So you get the Blood Boon here. When a creature dies, you can claim the last vestiges of its vitality to regain 1d8 of health. When you do, you may grant a creature a number of temporary health equal to its level. So boom, bunch of extra healing. That's nice. You also get your wild shape charges, wild shapes, and for spells, I would recommend grabbing the Healing Word spell. We'll also take Thunder Wave, Create or Destroy Water if you have a lightning or cold caster on your team. If not, it doesn't really matter. Long Strider to buff up your team also works very well. I think Fog Cloud is definitely something you want to have at least one player having at least early on in the game. And Ice Knife if you need something while you're silenced. Into level 3, we get a really great spell with Hold Person, but the Sense Lifeblood. So, sense the lifeblood flowing through nearby creatures. For the duration of the spell, when you deal damage to a creature whose current health points are equal to or below half their maximum, you deal an additional 2d8 of damage. So this is a bonus action concentration. As part of casting this spell, though, you take 2d4 of damage. So this is something, again, I love the blood classes that you really have to think the risk versus reward ratio here. This can be pretty effective, though. And we get to take another spell here, and I'd recommend grabbing, since you already got Hold Person, Spike Growth can be good for a different concentration. Moonbeam plus Sanctuary, everyone knows how powerful that can be. I just like to have Spike Growth there until we hit level 4, or level 7 for the level 4 spell, Woodland Being. Now, once we get to level 4 here, we get the Deep Barathe, and we get a feat. I would recommend boosting up Wisdom or Dexterity. Alert can be another feat if you don't want to go with that, just to make sure you do go first, but I think Wisdom increase is just our best bet. And Produce Flame is actually really useful in Act 2, because you can pop this up and it'll last until long rest, and then you just have a burning hand. It looks really cool too. Highly recommended for once you get to Act 2. And we'll take Moonbeam here, so that just works well. Into level 5 here, we get 2 cool new spells. We get the Reanimate, which is an enhanced version of the Revivify spell. So return a companion to life with 1 health point and 3d8 temporary health points. While it has these temporary health points, it moves with an unnatural vigor, gaining a +2 bonus to all ability checks, attack rolls, and saving throws. It says for 14 turns. But again, another downside for you, you take a 3d4 of damage for casting this spell. It's worthwhile. Honestly, that's just a nice buff to get your teammate back up and running. It can be pretty effective if you got one that's downed. Or went down. Sanguine Poppet. Animate the blood you shed by casting the spell to become a sanguine poppet under your control. You may cast the poppet to self-destruct in an explosion of blood, dealing 3 to 24 necrotic damage to nearby enemies. This is basically like a summon that'll last until long rest, and you also do take a 3d4 of damage for casting it, so it's something, again, high risk, high reward. We also get the Wild Strike for an additional Wild Shape attack. You can always Wild Shape too, it's another fun thing to do. I like to have Call Lightning. It's a concentration-based attack, but 3d10 of damage is quite solid at level 3. And Plant Growth for the concentration-free crowd control. Once we get to level 6, then we get the Rite of the Blood Moon. Deprive your ally or yourself into a frenzy by invoking the power with their blood. While under the effects of the rite, the target gains resistance to non-magical physical damage. Its senses and movement speed are enhanced, and it deals increased damage with unarmed attacks. Furthermore, you may perform an extra unarmed attack by using a bonus action after attacking. It also replaces the attack die with a d8. So yeah, a lot of benefits here. And this is also in addition to the Owlbear and Panther, the Owlbear being one of the best wild shapes. Daylight's not a good spell. We'll take Sleet Storm there. And then once we get ourselves level 7 here, we get 2 more. Dark Sacrament. Stab the target with a ritual dagger. If this damage causes the creature to be reduced to 0 health points, you gain your choosing of Unassailable, Unbreakable, Unerring. And then also you take 44 of damage for casting this. Unbreakable increases your size by 1, so you become large, for example, and you gain a number of temporary health points equal to your Constitution modifier at the start of your turns, and your weapon attacks will deal a 1d4 of extra damage. With the Unerring, your proficiency bonus increases by 2, And with the unassailable, you get advantage on all saving throws. So actually some pretty effective benefits there. We also get the Circle of Scarlet here, which is 48 of necrotic plus a 46 conditional necrotic. Cause a crimson pillar to erupt from the ground. The necrotic energy sap from afflicted creatures grants you 15 temporary health points. And as part of casting a spell, you take 44 of damage. So again, some more high risk, high rewards. Level 7 is a big power spike for the druid, however, because we get some of the most powerful spells. We get minor elementals, we get woodland being, we get confusion, we got ice storm. I would recommend grabbing ice storm there. We don't need sacred we don't need spike growth anymore because we got the woodland being. Grasping vine is a nice bonus action to create difficult terrain. I also do like to have confusion, so we'll take all of those. Blight is a decent damage spell, and wall of fire as well, but we'll roll with this for the time being. Into level 8, we get ourselves, again, another choice in spell here. Wall of Fire is not a bad concentration if you want to gatekeep with the damage. And we may as well take our wisdom up to 20 or go with an increase to our initiative using the alert feat. Level 9 gives us another mortality. Condemn an aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, or fiend to a taste of mortality, subtracting 5 to 40 health from its total health points. Additionally, for the duration of the spell, all of its ability scores are reduced by 3. If it is a humanoid in addition to its other creature types, it is a humanoid in addition, and it takes an additional 1d4 necrotic each time it takes damage. You take a 5d4 of damage for casting this. It's a pretty cool option. And then also we got Dominate Person, so cool spells. We also get to take level 5 with Insect Plague and the Conjure Elemental being 2 really useful spells to grab at that level. Once we get level 10, we get the Bloodlust. A target under the effects of the Rite of the Blood Moon may sacrifice pieces of their own vitality to enhance their capacity for destruction. Once on each of their turns when rolling a damage, they can take 1d8 slashing to add a 1d8 to their damage roll. So pretty cool ability to hurt yourself, but then also add more damage to attacks. You also can do the extra attack and wild shape, and you get the Dilophosaurus, so you can do some corrosive acid spit. So on theme, you could take poison spray here. We'll just go with guidance. And for the prepared spell, we're going to be able to prepare a lot of spells. So I guess planar binding can be a thematic choice for this build. I don't always like using it. Level 11 gives us access to our level 6 spells, with Sunbeam being a good one because it can blind targets. Heal is also pretty useful because with Heal, you can actually get a unique interaction with the Dark Urge. Level 12 gives us another feat and another choice in spell. Wall of Thorns is nice, and even Hero's Feast for the boost to the overall survivability. And with this, I think Alert, just the best choice. Now, you don't have to go to level 20, you can end it off there. We're not going to get a whole lot. We do get an extra, you get the Blood Elemental at level 14, so that is the biggest benefit, but you don't have to do it. You can go to level 12. With the Create Blood Elemental, fully exsanguinate a nearby corpse, conjuring a water elemental composed of its blood to bound to your service. It functions the same as a water elemental. It does use a reaction to cast, so just be mindful of that if you multi-class this. And I guess we'll take the Wall of Thorns spell, because Wall of Thorns can be decent crowd control too. Level 15, just another, another free spell slot, more health. Level 16 gives us a feat. If you want to be really tanky, because this is a higher risk, higher reward class, you can take the tough feat for the plus 40 health, 2 per level, and we're going to level 20, so it's 40. Level 17, just another spell slot. Level 9, baby, let's go. And then level 10 gives us another level 5 spell slot. You can grab whatever spells you want here. Contagion is actually cool because you can use that outside of combat and it doesn't aggro people. Level 19 gives us our last feat, and I would recommend boosting up the dexterity or taking Warcaster, or even you could go Spell Sniper and take Eldritch Blast. And then we get another level 7 spell slot. You can prepare these spells at any time, so take whatever you want there, but we got everything that we do want. We want to use most of the abilities from this subclass. Now, what we're going to do for gear. The nice thing is you do get medium armor proficiency with this. But if you want to, the Armor to Landfall is nice because you can regain health on the vine surfaces and get plant growth and a +1 to spell save DC. Best armor class, Armor of Agility. Just goes without saying. That's going to put our armor class up to 28 with this setup. We can even pushing this a little higher with different gloves. You can get to 29. The Helm of Baldur, and this is just going to be the best because it heals you. And then we also have benefits of giving Blade Ward on heal with the Reviving Hands. And then you can also grab the Whispering Promise Ring too to be able to apply a bunch of things on heal because we actually do heal quite a bit with this class. So this will give Bless 1d4 bonus attack rolls and saving throws. This heals you, so you get the benefits. And then the Reviving Hands give Blade Ward to take half physical damage. Pretty good. It also gives you a Revivify, even though we do have our own version of Reanimate there. Also Cloak Protection or Deathstalker Mantle, your choice. Again, medium armor just gives us the best survivability. So give your best choice for medium armor. We could even get, if we went with higher dexterity, we get that up to 30 almost with the other items equipped. And then we also got the reviving hands again, and the evasive shoes. You can also go with the boots of stormy clamor here if you really want to stack up different conditions with reverberation. The woe staff's actually kind of cool because it regains health whenever targets receive or fail a saving throw. I don't normally like using this weapon, but I think it works decently well here. It also fits thematically. It looks pretty cool. If you really want to maximize your power, you're going to go with, obviously, the Markaheshkar staff. Just the free cast plus the chain lightning is nice. Viconia's Walking Fortress, and I went with the Ring of Mental Inhibition. Whenever a target fails a saving throw, they get mental fatigue, so this can stack up and make them take psychic damage, and it also gives them a minus to their intelligence, charisma, and wisdom saving throws for every turn remaining, so that can be quite a bit, because it does 2 stacks per failed saving throw, and then that counts as even just like getting hit with a damaging spell. Also, the Amulet of Greater Health. I'm using the Woodland Elf outfit too. That's what I had on at the start of the video, if you're curious. And then also I went with the Hellrider Longbow for the +3 to our initiative. So what this looks like in combat. I guess one last thing. Once you have all your summons brought in, you can use Hero's Feast. And if you have someone else with aid, you can really buff up their overall health. So Hero's Feast is going to take up their overall health quite a bit. Yeah, you definitely want to use that. It also can give you some pizza, which is hilarious that there's pizza in Baldur's Gate 3. And there's the Sanguine Poppet too from the Sanguine Poppet spell, which can explode and deal necrotic damage in an area. Anytime that a creature gets taken out too, and this even counts as like civilians like this, you can use your blood boon again to be able to heal yourself. I don't want to use up the reaction because we got other reactions that I'd rather use. So we can do the Sanguine Explosion there, but it does take up an action to be able to do that, so that's something you got to keep in mind. I would recommend grabbing a crowd control option like the Insect Plague spell there, or even Confusion if you see a lot of enemies grouped up in a specific area. But you can also go with another form of crowd control, like dropping an Ice Storm, especially if there is a large number of enemies all here. Again, we can use the Blood Boon, but we don't need to. We're only missing 5 health there, so it's not a big deal because of the Sanguine Poppet, because most of these spells will make you take damage. And then we can stab a target if they come close to us, but it does require a spell slot that we don't have, and we would have to upcast that, which does have upcast ability, which is nice. Now, we don't have any concentrations right now, but I would recommend grabbing one just because concentration is going to be super useful for stopping the enemies. So we're going to go with ones that aren't going to be affected by our spells there, and we'll drop a hold person on the 3 of them over here. And maybe even these will likely fail their saving throw, but they're on ice, so we won't burn through our spell slots too quickly. I guess we'll actually, yeah, we'll do that just because I don't have any level 4 spell slots, and it's better not to waste it, and we'll go with him because he's got more health. So yeah, crowd control is our best friend as a druid. And as a bonus action, we got our Sense Lifeblood that we can use if we didn't have our concentration. And we can go with Grasping Vine. We can use a level 4 spell slot, even though I wouldn't always recommend doing that. That can create difficult terrain. Then we also got the Create Blood Elemental, so we can use a reaction to turn one of these puppies here into a Blood Elemental. So boom, there you go. It looks pretty cool. There it is, a Blood Elemental. Yeah, that is nice. Look at the dance. I love that. And it doesn't use your bonus action, so you can even use like Shillelagh here if you wanted to on our staff. Or even the Kreska's Favor too. And again, despite this being a really cool appearance, it's still, at the end of the day, it's still a water elemental, so it can create vulnerability to cold damage, which is nice from its main hand attack there. So yeah, we don't have enough movement here, unfortunately, to be able to do that, but yeah, it's pretty useful. And the nice thing about Hold Person is we can always have our critical hits, so things like the Mud Methods here, they can just go in and actually do their full-on damage. So we'll go ahead with attacking there and get a free critical hit in. Boom. I guess not critical hit, but it's fine. Good amount of damage. That one's ensnared there. Then we can also use our Blood Explosion here to do a little extra damage too. So it can only do that like punch attack or a dash, so you can get it into prime positioning to deal multiple damage to targets. But you have to use your own bonus action to explode it, so that's unfortunate. And Heaven's Psionic Dominance can be huge. We did just use up a reaction, but getting hit with a command can be devastating, so that was worth it. And the Woodland Being is goated with its ability to just lock down an area with spike growth, so you can pop that down, deals a little extra damage to the enemies, and stops them from moving around. And it also can use a bonus action to heal itself. And then on the topic of crowd control, we also have the Woodwoad here, which can create the difficult terrain on top of all that, so that's nice. And then it's back to our turn. So we'll use the Circle of Scarlet here. So this can be a really effective spell if you have a group of enemies pop together like that. You do damage yourself, but you see there, that's pretty good damage. Didn't take out all of them, but since they failed the saving throw, they got hit with the Mental Fatigue and Reverberation, so pretty effective. And then I guess the Sense Lifeblood, we do have a concentration held, so that's unfortunate. We could use the Mortality if there's an enemy that could be affected by it, but we may just use another Circle of Scarlet. That's one of the better options. Or we could use the Sanguine Explosion on our little poppet there. So we can go with that and make it do an explosion. Boom! Yeah, that was an option. That wasn't probably the best option, but I just want to show it off. And we'll get our Blood Elemental actually do an attack there. I should have warped with it because they do have a bonus action warp. But again, it does do cold damage. And sometimes the best thing you can do with a Mephit is just explode it. Unfortunately, it's going to hit our Wood Woad there. But you don't have to heal yourself with a Blood Boon whenever that happens. So that's a cool ability. And then gives us that extra 3 health. And that sets up Bless and Blade Ward on our character too. So a lot of benefits for doing something like that with a reaction. Our Woodland Being can also hit pretty hard too. 22 damage, not bad. And next I'll show off the Dark Sacrament attack here, which gives us benefits. We do have to upcast it, but boom, it does a melee attack, 59 damage, pretty good. So again, with this, you get advantage on saving throws. This will give the temporary health equal to our Constitution modifier and increase melee weapon damage by 1d4. And the Dark Blessing Unerring, you can give yourself a proficiency bonus +2. The Unassailable is nice, getting advantage on all saving throws, so you're much less likely to get hit with anything. That can be pretty effective. We also have 2 targets here to hit, so we can drop another Blood Explosion here. And yeah, it hopefully took out, yeah, we got both of them. Sweet. That's what we wanted. And we're getting wrecked, so we're going to drop down another Spike Growth over here to crowd control these folks. And this may end up triggering more guards because the civilians are getting hit by it, but that's a price I'm willing to take. Whenever we have multiple enemies in a large area, Circle of Scarlet is going to be best choice, or the Ice Storm here. I'm going to use this one here because it's a unique spell to it. And we're burning through our spell slots pretty quickly, so hopefully, yeah, we were able to take out multiple of them there, and a funny ragdoll happened. Love whenever that happens. And we have Hold Person on this one still, so we may as well just go with a melee attack here and use up one of our last spell slots to deal a bunch of damage. Boom, 87, perfect. And then we give ourselves a different blessing. It won't actually let us do it, so we just won't react. Because you have one of those at a time. But that is the Circle of Blood Druid in Baldur's Gate 3. Again, the Woodland Elf outfit was one that I had at the start of the outfit, or the video. This mod was made by Havsglimt. It's incredible. Go download it right now. You won't regret it. Enjoy your day. See you in the next video, and subscribe if you haven't already.